groin, which play a big role in jiu-jitsu and are a common area for injury. So you can see Coach Sterner is going to perform a full stride and hinge and sit back through his heel and hip to really work his hamstrings and glutes. He's kind of flossing or flowing through either side of the hips to really get a nice stretch for the adductors, then rotate 180 degrees and switch sides. Let's go ahead and have you rotate 90 degrees just so that we can get a full angle and see what we're doing from both sides of the body. Here, anywhere from 5 to 10 reps per side as you feel necessary. Next is what's called the world's greatest stretch, because it is. Coach Sterner here is going to perform a forward lunge, hands down to the ground. So we're having deep knee and hip flexion on one side. He's going to bring his elbow to his instep to really challenge spinal mobility, and then rotate his arm and look up to the sky. So here we have a lot of T-spine or upper back rotation with a deep hip and knee position, which is very specific to jiu-jitsu. We'll then switch sides, elbow to instep, and rotate. Good, let's go ahead and perform one repetition at 90 degrees. Really try to challenge yourself to keep your front heel in contact with the ground and a vertical shin while keeping a mostly neutral spine. Rotate and follow the hand with your eyes. Here, about 5 repetitions per side should do it. Next is a bear crawl, which is one of our favorite core activation drills because it is so specific to positions that we often see while playing guard. Most people raise their hips way too high off the ground when they perform bear crawls. We want to be able to have the knees hover the bare minimum off of the ground in a tabletop back position. We're also going to look to rotate as little as possible from side to side, making sure that as we stride, so go ahead coach, as we stride that the hand and foot on the opposite side are hitting at the exact same time. If I put a block or a bowl on top of Coach Sterner's back, it would not fall off. And we like to be very slow and very robotic, keeping the hips down. So we'll see a position here from the side where we're keeping the knees hovering just barely off the ground, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Here we'll go about 10 to 15 repetitions per side. The last exercise in the warm-up is a power skip. We like to finish our warm-ups with explosive movements because it helps potentiate our nervous system and allows us to produce more force. So you'll see here that Coach Sterner is going to drive and explode off of one leg while also swinging his opposite arm. Focus on being nice and stable and landing with a strong knee position.
So the next topic we're going to discuss in terms of how to properly execute this program is how long you should be resting, right? How long should those rest periods be? The short answer, we're looking for 3 to 4 minutes, but it gets a little bit more complicated than that, right? We don't want to be doing something where, let's say you were capable of doing 50 push-ups and you only get 5, or you only do 5 rather, and then you wait 3 to 4 minutes. That's not a productive use of our time. The thing that we really want to make sure of is that our effort level demands that much rest. And that's going to require, circling back to what Coach Bryce was talking about in terms of effort or proximity to failure. We want our working sets to be relatively close to failure. If we go by what Coach Bryce was saying, 2 or 3 reps from failure, if we only wait 30 seconds and go back into that next high effort set, there's no way we're going to get the same number of reps we did the first time. Or if we do, we'll be compromised in terms of range of motion or technique. Now, I know this sounds very different from how jiu-jitsu works, right? Everybody, when they want to train for jiu-jitsu in the weight room, they want it to closely mimic jiu-jitsu. But what we're trying to do here is elicit an adaptation that you won't get all that well from jiu-jitsu. You won't build strength, and not just strength of the muscle, but strength of the tendons, connective tissue, ligaments, and bone. You won't build those with really short rest periods and a very low effort level in terms of each set in proximity to failure, right? We really want to take time to load those structures up so they can remodel in a positive way. And that brings me to my last point here. We only have indicated the working sets on your program. Now, those aren't the only sets that you're going to perform that day of that exercise. To go back to Coach Bryce's example of the sprinter, before he ever sprints maximally and gets timed for his event, he's doing plenty of other sprinting at increasing effort levels to get him to that maximal effort level. And we're going to do the same thing here. Let's say you have bench press a day and you know that the week before you were doing your sets of 5 at 225. You're not just going to throw 225 on the bar and go for it. You might start with an empty bar, Load up a little more weight, like 135, hit a set of 5 there, and work your way up. And to bring it back to what Coach Bryce was talking about in reps in reserve, what you're gonna do is gauge whether that's a good or a bad day with those ramp up sets, right? 135 pounds is always 135 pounds, but on a day where it feels really light, that gives you a direct indication that that day you might go for a PR. You might look to go heavier than the 225 that you did the week before. So it's really important that those rest periods bring us to a point where we can train at very close proximity to failure. Those two concepts really go hand in hand. We wanted to keep this program simple, so every single exercise can be done with either your own body weight, a dumbbell, or a barbell. Now, some of us who may not be familiar with the term might see landmine and think that it's a specialized piece of equipment. A landmine sleeve looks like this, and if your gym has one, you can